Good morning. Today let's discuss a few questions related to transformation of trigonometrical functions. So you can find a question here. The question represents a transformed sine curve. Part of the graph y is equal to a sine bx plus c is shown above. Find the value of a, the value of b and the value of c. When you observe this graph, you can see this graph begin from 0, 5, it goes to 9, come back to 1, again it come back to 5. So this is one complete graphical representation of sine. Yes. So it started from 0 and end with 180 degree or pi degree. That means when you reach to pi radian, one complete graph is over. That means the period is pi. The period of this graph is pi. What do you mean by that? So the period of this present graph is pi, which is the half of 2 pi, because you know the period of a sine function is 2 pi or 360 degree. The period of a normal sine graph is 360 degree or 2 pi. But for this graph, the period is pi. Period is pi stands for, it is 2 pi divided by 2. Okay, that means there is a divided by 2. That means the value of b is 2. Because remember the concept, horizontal stretch. Y is equal to sine ax represent a horizontal stretch with stretch factor 1 over a. So y is equal to sine 2x represent a horizontal stretch with a stretch factor 1 over 2. Okay. In such cases, we have discussed already 360 degree will be changed to 180 degree or 2 pi radian changed to pi radian as period. So here the actual period is 2 pi radian, but in this particular question it is changed to pi radian because the stretch factor is 1 by 2. As the stretch factor is 1 by 2, we get b as 2. That's the value of b as 2. Now, a sine bx, that means a sine 2x, as we found b as 2, plus c has two transformations where a sine 2x, this is a vertical stretch and this is a vertical translation. So when you observe the graph, you can find this point as 9. Actually, this point was 1. The amplitude was 1. But now the amplitude is changed to plus 9. That because of the operations with stretch and translation. When the stretch and translation work together, added together, we got the maximum amplitude as 9. And what is the minimum amplitude? Minimum value comes here now. Actually, it should be minus 1. But now it is 1. That means a minus c is 1. Okay. So when you do this calculation, we get 2a is equal to 10 or a is equal to 5. As a is 5, we can get the value of c now. As a plus c is 9, c is 9 minus a, or we get c as 9 minus 5, which is 4 as result. Even another simple way to find the value of a and c is, let's check when the angle is 0 radian, the value is 5. The y value is 5. That means a sine 0 radian plus c is equal to 5. So sine 0 is always 0. So we get c is equal to 5 as result. The same thing you can get the value for EA when you take even x as pi radian or x as pi by 2 radian, etc. Okay. For that you can take this pi by 4 value. Suppose x as pi by 4. We get A sine 2 times pi by 4 plus c we got already as 5 is equal to y. Pi by 4 gives the value for y as 9. That is A into sine pi by 2. Sine pi by 2 is 1 sine 90 plus 5 is equal to 9, or A is equal to 9 minus 5, which is 4 as answer. Check this question. Part of the graph of y is equal to a plus b cos cx is shown above. Write down the value of a, the value of b, and the value of c. So the graph mentioned here is cos, and we know already the period of cos is 360 degree. Now let's see here what's the period of this graph. Actually, this is an approximate shape of a cos graph. So when this shape is completed, when you get that shape, which shape? This is one complete shape of cos graph. Okay, this shape makes one period of cos graph, that is normally 360 degree. But in our question, that shape started from here and it reached here. That means when the angle is 120 degree, by 120 degree one complete period is over. Then the next period is started here, next period is here. So here 120 degree is the period of this graph. So what's the period of this graph? It is just 120 degree. The period of the graph is 120 degree, which is formed by the actual period multiplied by 1 by 3. The actual period is 360, that multiplied by 1 by 3. That means stretch factor is 1 by 3. Stretch factor is 1 by 3 means the value of C is 3 as result. So now we got the expression as y is equal to a plus b cos 3x. Now we can use the previous method to find the value of a and b. If we consider x as 0 degree, we get a plus b cos 3 into 0, that is cos 0, is equal to y. At 0 degree y is 5, and you know cos 0 is 1, so we get a plus b is equal to 5 as equation number 1. And if you take x as 60 degree, If x has 60 degree, we get a plus b cos 3 times 60. 3 times 60. That's equal to y. Y is 1. That is a plus b cos 180. 3 times 60 is 180. Cos 180 is, minus 1. That's equal to 1. So we get it as a minus b is equal to 1. So this is equation 2. So we got two simultaneous equations. One is a plus b is 5 and the second one is a minus b is 1. If you add both the equations, we get 2a is equal to 6 or a equals 3. When you replace a as 3 here, we get 3 plus b is equal to 5 or b is equal to 2 as result. Look at this question. Part of the graph y is equal to a tan bx plus c is shown above. The graph passes through the point p pi by 4 8. Find the value of a, the value of b and the value of c. So this graph represents the graph of a tangent function, and the period of a tangent function is 180 degrees. And when you check this graph, here also the period is 180 degree. How do you identify? Because you see at 0 degree the graph is on 5. 0 radian the graph is pi. The graph is at 5, and at pi radian also the graph is at pi 5. So 0 radian and pi radian both gives us the same answer. Okay, or even you can find out the distance between the asymptotes. One asymptote is here, the second asymptote is here. Find the difference between the asymptotes. So one asymptote is at pi by 2 and the other one is at 3 pi by 2. Let's find the difference between pi by 2 and 3 pi by 2. Pi by 2, which is pi by 2 minus 3 pi by 2 minus pi by 2. We get it as 2 pi by 2, that's equal to pi. That is same as the period of a tangent function. That means there is no stretch happened in this question. That means the value of b remains 1 as there is no stretch. So we get b as 1. Now when you look at the graph, when the angle is 0, the y coordinate is 5. When the angle is 0, the y value is 5. Let's use that concept. So when x is 0, y is 5. That gives us the result a tan 0 plus c is equal to 5. Tan 0 is 0. That means a tan 0 becomes 0, so that we get the value of c as 5. Okay. Now we need to calculate a. For that, in the question itself they have given one concept, which is nothing but the curve passes through the point p pi by 4 8. The curve passes through the point p pi by 4 8. You can find a point p here, which is pi by 4 8. That means nothing but when x is pi by 4, y is 8. What do you mean by that? When x is pi by 4, when x is pi by 4, y is 8. So our equation becomes a tan pi by 4 plus c you got already as 5 is equal to y value as 8. And tan pi by 4 is 1, so we get a plus 5 is equal to 8, or a is equal to 8 minus 5, which is 3 as result.